What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to Weekly Indie Newcomer, the weekend series where we take a look at an indie game that's been bouncing around my brain over the course of the last week. This week, we're going to be checking out a little game called Flamberge, which is kind of like an active time. So it's a little bit weird. It's a strategy game, and it's somewhere in between turn-based and active. So what'll happen is in combat, you select a grouping of actions you want your character to take during the next active turn, and everybody on the battlefield does the thing that you planned out. And so it becomes kind of an interesting combination of trying to predict what the enemy is going to do while at the same time predict how you're going to dodge whatever it is they're deciding to do. So you're trying to get hits off while at the same time moving around them. And it's an interesting idea for a game. They sent it on over. I've played a little bit, but I figured I'd play a little bit more with you because I love you that much. So let's play some video games here. If after seeing this title you wanted to get more info, I've got it all down at the bottom in the description for you. Let's play some single player here. Campaign, yes indeedly doodly. And I'm about to play a new game here. I will call my game Spoot. Yep, it's time for Spoot. Let's spoot it on up. First thing you'll notice is kind of the old school feel to it. It's definitely got kind of like a Super Nintendo feel. At least that's what it feels like to me. It's kind of like a middle generation Super Nintendo game with regards to the graphics and presentation. Apple. I've always admired you. Even under the storm, you stun me with your beauty. Your mountains, your rivers, your forests. So many people burrowed away in their houses, sleeping through the storm. Something fierce has come ashore tonight. The storm will slow them for sure. But I don't know how we might stop them. There's a voice wavering in the woods. Logan. Halt! This is the domain of Lord Waldalla. You're trespassing. Please turn back. Meep. What is he saying? I don't know, Logan. It's too foreign. Meep. This is your last warning. Meep. Damn, they got blapped on. They got blapped on so hard. Logan, stay alive and stay hidden. You need to make your way back to Knockwood. So let's be on our way to Knockwood. Knock on wood, it won't go badly, if we're lucky. Where am I? I hear a voice in the distance. Alright, so I'm basically not going to explain too much about the way that this is going to go. Like, I'm not going to read the tutorial stuff because I've already done it or whatever. But I'll do my best to kind of let you know what it is that I'm doing. So from here, on to movement. Flamberge has two phases. A planning phase where you plan out your turn, and then an execution phase where movement and combat take place. So in the planning phase, what's going to happen is we're going to take our character, and you see this stamina bar down here in the bottom right-hand corner. We can move Logan until his stamina is gone. And so that's what we're going to do, and then we double-tap spacebar, and that's going to make it execute. And so as you can see, this is kind of an interesting way to approach combat, and I like it a lot. It's one of those things where it's all about prediction, but at the same time, if you're constantly playing defensively, you're never going to get any damage off on your enemies. And so you'll see how combat goes in this next little segment. We should be able to blow through here pretty quickly. If I find that I don't feel as though I've showed the game off well enough, what we'll do is we'll make it into like a 2 or 3 episode mini-series for Weekly Indie Newcomer, because I know how much you guys like those. So they want us to move Logan into combat range of the enemy. So move him to like right there. He's got an ability called Charge. And so he hops and then he runs in a straight line. Now there's 3 targeting modes, but we've only got 1 right now, and we've got manual targeting, which essentially means that we target it by hand, which means we have to lead by hand, we have to target by hand. This guy is unaware of us, so this should be nice and easy. So there it is. Execute! He moves forward. There's his charge. He hits him for 2 damage, as you saw pop up right there. The little shield above their head is how much HP they've got left remaining. That guy looks like he's got half a blue face right there. Maybe from us hitting him, but giving him a little bit of that pumpkin head express. Just blop, just got to catch him with the righty. And so that's how damage is dealt in Flamberge. Please take note of the flashing dots at the enemy's feet. That is the aggro, so that's who he's attacking right there. So now he's aware of Logan, and on the next turn, he will do everything he can to continue attacking Logan. It's also flashing, which means that an attack is incoming. So everybody has defensive abilities in this game. Logan's got one called Disarm. And so you disarm the attacker, and then you remove their ability to attack for a turn. And so we put that on ourselves, we execute, and you see he bounces right off of us. Excellent, the enemy is unable to attack for a turn, which means that we are now ready to murder this dude. So now what it's going to try and explain is this enemy is going to try and move, but there are different targeting modes. There's auto, which means that you will always hit, but it will do bare minimum damage. There's adjusted, which kind of auto-targets the enemy slightly within reason, so it will adjust for minor course corrections that the enemy makes during their turn, and it deals a little less damage. And then there's manual, which does bonus damage. For right now, I think what it wants us to do is an adjusted attack, so we'll do that. And you see how he moved a little bit to the right there? We probably still would have hit him if we had used a normal attack, but since we used adjusted, you could see he curved a little bit while he was attacking, or before he started the charge, he adjusted his course slightly. Alright, we will click Logan to select him. It wants me to charge, and then it wants me to show off automatic this time, I think. And so if we go into auto mode, this is basically Overwatch. If there's nobody on the field of battle, but you think somebody might pop out and you put him on auto charge, that's basically Overwatch. If an enemy comes inside his little sphere of influence right here, he will charge them instantly, but for minimum damage. So there it is. We've set the auto attack, and we'll wait it out. An enemy appears, he gets instant charged, and now he's down. That's simple. Nothing else to worry about. We got to use what we've learned against this individual. I'm going to say that I'm going to start out with a parry, because he's probably going to try and close with us, then charge. So he's been parried. He is now no longer able to attack us. However, the downside here, I'm going to use a manual attack, actually. Let's go for it. There it is. 2 damage dealt. He tried to move out of the way, but unfortunately we're so close quarters right now that it's going to make it kind of difficult for him to do anything that gets him out of the way of our attacks. I'm going to throw down on another parry. And then we'll take manual. He's going to move that way. I'm going to lead him slightly. There it is. Perfect. And so having led him slightly, we deal damage, and then we continue onwards and upwards. We can pan the camera with the shift, or we can do it with the middle mouse button. I prefer to do it with shift just because sometimes I might be holding down the key with my hand for other reasons. I don't want that to happen, so what we do is we right-click our character. I want him to go right there instead. You can hold down F to make the action take place faster, which once you start getting into more complicated combats with a lot more movement and stuff happening, you may want to speed it forward slightly just to make it a little easier on yourself. I'm going to move him to there, and then I'm going to adjust target that guy just in case it triggers his aggro, but somebody jumped out of the bushes. What's about you, city boy? It's you. The militia, we were demolished. It appears so. We've got to make our way back to Knockwood. Logan's the name. Arborine. And so now we've got a new character in our party. Pretty sweet. I love the little character arts too. That's actually the part about this that most reminds me of old Super Nintendo games, is the art style that they've decided to choose. It's like low fidelity, but at the same time it gets the point across, and you can tell that there's like pixel talent in there. It's just they've chosen to lower the resolution on it to make it look a little bit older. Arborine's an archer, so she's a little bit different from what we're playing around with Logan. What she's able to do is she's able to shoot at range. We're not going to fire adjusted. We're going to manual target right there. We'll execute that. She sniped that individual. You can now see that this archer is aggro, and he's going to fire around on his next turn. So we're going to use her defensive ability, which is called Evade. And so there it is. And you'll see she jumps out of the way right when the arrow strikes. And so now he's planning on moving slightly to the left. My suggestion would be maybe we try to lead him. I don't know. We'll use adjusted just because we don't know how much he's going to move for. So there it is. Adjusted damage. He only had 1 HP anyways, so he is now down. The field is going to clear out, and then from here the tutorial is basically just going to let us do whatever we want to finish off the remaining enemies. So I will move these two up to here. Let's have a look and see what we have over on this side. Hopefully we don't trigger any enemies from here. What I'd prefer to have happen is on this turn, I would like for her to manual strike to there. He will move to there, and then he will manual charge. Let me reset that and get him a little bit closer, actually. So he'll manual charge there. So there goes her shot. That enemy is now aware of us, but it's not going to matter because we charged him and killed him on the first turn. We're going to charge that thing like a Visa because we don't give a damn. We're hardcore killers out in the forest all day. Killers, dillers, and stealers. Alright, so we're on this side now. Can she make that shot from right there? She cannot. That's actually the maximal range that her shot can fire, so if it doesn't reach, it doesn't reach. But we'll fire from there. We will execute that turn. He's now aware of us, but he was only aware for a moment before he was slain. I'll move them out to there. This guy is now aware, so it looks like he's going to go after Logan. Logan is at 4 out of 9 HP, I think. I'm going to put him on defensive just in case. As far as she goes, she's going to go right there. We're going to put her on Overwatch so that she fires at anybody that comes inside her range. So there's the hit. He's effectively disarmed. And Arborine's not able to fire on this turn. He's going to try and move that way. I don't think we're going to need an auto target in order to make this work, so I'm going to go manual. And there it is. Love the music, too. Everything just really, really good presentation with this game. I'm excited to see what happens with it once it's out of its development phase. I don't think the game is available right now for anybody that wants to purchase it. I think the developers are kind of keeping it close to their chest. I think I contacted them about a year ago letting them know that I wanted to play it. And they finally got back to me like last week, and they were like, all right, we think it's ready. We think it's ready. We noticed you were following our Twitter, and we know you're interested in the game, so we think it's ready to at least be shown off a little bit. So here you go. And so that's what I did. Rain died down. How long was I out? Not sure. You've missed quite a bit. Soldiers have been combing the forest for hours. What are they? Their language is so foreign. I'd like to know that too. We need to get back to Knockwood. Agreed. So to Knockwood we go, to the abandoned tower. We should also take a moment to save our game. It does seem wise, and I appreciate the fact, as far as the UI goes, that's actually a really, really good feature if you're not going to have an autosave. Have something moving or flashing on screen to draw the player's eye so they'll be like, oh yeah, I should probably save right now. It looks like we're also going to have equipment at some point, consumables, accessories. Pretty excited about playing this one out. Let's go ahead and we'll head up to the forest real fast. There's a man over by that tower. Is he sleeping? Let's go check it out. This is a peaceful area. You can move around by clicking on the ground. Oh, it's a talkie-talkie area. A talkie-talkie, walkie-walkie, stocky-stocky area. Quick, touch his butt before he wakes up. Arb. Here, soldiers approaching. He's out cold. Oi! We've got company in the woods. So we've got a few enemies here. Some of them armed with spears. I'm going to move him to right there. And I think I should like to put him on Overwatch just in case. Since we're surrounded, I'm going to do the same thing with her. I'm going to move her in that direction. And we're going to put her on Overwatch as well. So there it is. We've killed off one enemy. Anytime strategically you're surrounded, your only real course of action is to either fortify if you've got strength of arms. Like if you've got more men, you can fortify and fight. But in general, you want to push in one direction as hard as you can to try and break through the bubble and get out. Because that leaves forces up here, over here, and down here, unable to join the combat that's taking place right here. And you hope that they've placed their lines thin enough that you can just bust through. Both of them are going to be on cooldown. It looks like he's got an attack ready for his next turn. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to put her on evade. He's got the ability to spear somebody, though, so we're going to put him on Overwatch right here. There it is. And so that's actually going to lead us out of combat a little bit. She should be able to continue dodging. So what's to stop her from using dodge every single turn and just being like a dodge tank the whole time? That's sort of what concerns me right there, is that, like, could I just use that ad nauseum? Because his has a cooldown on it. Whereas, actually, yeah, do adjusted right there. We'll see what happens. Perfect. So we've got another enemy right there. Ah! Is this a fight I hear? Perhaps you could give us a hand? Undoubtedly. You two seem of a good nature. I will fend off these beasts. Alright, so what does Hommel do? The enemy's going to attack Hommel. He's got parry. So So it deflects the next attack, dealing damage. Oh, that's pretty good. Sounds good to me, yeah. Let's execute it. Get stabbed on by mighty Hamel. Wow, that's really, really good. That actually went fantastically well. I'm surprised how hard that laid down the whomp on that guy. I thought it was going to do one down. Huzzah! This guy seems a bit zealous. To me, he comes across as very drunk. Righto! So we now have Hamel, who is a level 2 swordsman with 3 HP, so he's a little bit squishy. Gotta make sure he doesn't get hit. Ooh, more enemies. Do we have any archers? We have an archer right there, so that archer is gonna take a shot at him. Hamel. Get behind cover. And my hope would be such that... So you block her. The music right now has me hyped. I like the music a lot. Oh, never mind. He's coming after you. He's actually got a flashing cursor. So you deflect. Manual damage might work right there. Let's take a little risk. Let's live a little. It worked! Unfortunately, that left him outside of range right there, which is a tad disappointing. Parry didn't get used either. Well, shiza. Okay, so drag him down that way in the hopes that maybe we'll avoid getting shot. Drag her back this way. As far as Hamel's concerned, does he have a charge or anything? He stabs in a direction. So he would have to travel a little bit further. And yeah, we'll use adjusted, although I doubt he's going to get down there in time. Oh, good. He was able to stay out of the way of the attack. It looks like they just used like a swift little thrust. Now for you, go ahead and use dodge. He's actually being targeted again. So he's going to fall back over to here. You move to there. And manual damage right there. Perfect. So their archer's now down. I love how this game is basically just an elaborate dance of characters moving around each other and trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Because there's a large predictor element to this game. If you go full-on offense, you're not actively thinking about what the enemy is going to be doing on their turn. And actually, I think these little indicators are a tiny bit generous because they tell you the direction the enemy is going to go when it comes to their attacks. But at the same time, it allows you to plan appropriately. Maybe we're early on in the game. Maybe later on there will be types of enemies that don't have these, where they have kind of hidden motives, I guess. We'll go ahead and have her evade. I will bring you to here. That should end the charge. I will give you an auto-targeted charge right there. So there it is, little bit of damage. He's going to attack her again. Yeah, her dodge is really, really good because she can use it every turn. So that's probably going to end him right there. So he's going to end like right where she's at. I'm going to aim that for right there. And we'll just kind of see if it works. Oh, it didn't. I'm so bummed out about that. Okay, well, use manual parry. You use disarm. Oh, okay, he didn't do what I thought he was going to do. Now that he's been dealt with, we'll go manual right there. Oh, no, it was in front of him. Sorry, I'm practicing my targeting at this point. I just kind of want to see what's going to happen. Oh, he's going to fire at him. Okay. Well, you go auto. There it is. Cut him off at the pass. It's a cool little idea. I'd like to think how somebody hatched this idea as far as the combat goes. I'd like to think it was probably one of those ideas where you were just sitting in the shower and in your head you were like moving video game ideas around and you're like, but what if? And then I don't really even know what this game would be drawing from inspirations, to be fair. I don't play a lot of strategy games and this seems fairly unique to me. So who is this guy? His name's Hamel. Logan, does this man seem odd to you? Not really? I think he's one of those mercenaries from the city. Would you be able to tell? I mean, we could just ask. They're not all scoundrels as far as I know. So, Hamel, is it? What exactly do you do? I am an, amateur swordsman. Professional drunk. At your service. How charming. Okay, well that leaves us with the river crossing. But as of right now, I think I'll cut this one a tiny bit short because once we get into combat, I don't want to end it in the middle. This game is called Flamberge. I'm going to cut another episode for you guys just so you can get a little bit more to wet your whistle on if you find this to be kind of an entertaining, interesting title. I've got information for you down below in the description. If you liked this video that I put together to show off this little indie title, that's what I do here every single weekend. I can't stress that enough, is that I very much like showing off little passion project indie titles. And when ones like this come up, I like to be careful to show them off in the best way possible because I like the game. They're very, very cool. It's one of those things where some games definitely deserve the limelight, and given what I've played from this game so far, everything seems like it's very well put together. And this is like the alpha. This isn't even like the final product. They're still working on this. So anyways, check out the information down below, add it to your watch list, get excited about it, follow them on Twitter. The game's called Flamberge. If you wanted to support this series, it's called Weekly Indie Newcomer. You can go down to the Patreon down below where you can fund, essentially, as my audience, what I do to make sure that I don't end up destitute and starving on a street corner somewhere. Thank you for stopping on by and allowing me to live out my passion and my love of showing off indie games. I will see you all next time. Weekly Indie Newcomer, over.